finally hit puberty, like around 10th grade, and that was late. But what happened with me in 10th grade is my sexuality started to develop.
Mhm.
And my sexuality wasn't a normal sexuality. So that put me behind the eight ball even more. And I really felt separate or thought I was not good enough or not no good and therefore separate and less than. And then I put a drink or a drug in my body around that time because, keg parties, and I had older friends that were doing, drugs recreational that I did earlier than I would probably have normally
Right.
done them. And as soon as I put a drink and cocaine in my system, I exhaled. And rightly so. I mean, that's what those drugs do. And that's what
Yeah.
alcohol does. It numbs you.
It's an
So
escape.
well, it wasn't an escape, it was a numbing. So the first time in my life, I wasn't on pins and needles because of my continued adolescent angst.
Mhm.
Um, and that's fair too. Like, I mean, that's what alcohol and recreational drugs are for, which I have absolutely no problem with. There's $1 trillion industry of alcohol for one reason. Take a load off.
Mhm.
It's okay. But little did I know that I, because I was so angst ridden, that it created what I call a false enlightenment. So I was enlightened for the first time in my life falsely, but it didn't matter that it was false. I didn't even know that it was false. All I knew is that I felt better.
Right.
I felt in my own skin. I
Mhm.
felt connected. I felt equal.
Accepted. Yeah.
Yeah, not even, well, I would say self-accepted,
Mhm.
because I was accepted for sure. You know, I happened to be a pretty popular kid and a good athlete, so I was accepted. And I was a good-looking kid. So I was accepted, but I didn't have self-acceptance, right? And that's what really matters. Like, you don't have to accept me if I have self-acceptance.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I
It all
mean?
starts with you. It all starts with
Like,
you.
it all starts with you. And this is why, another one of my passions is about, like, it's gonna make me cry. The lyric, teach them well and let them lead the way,
Mhm.
or not teaching them well. I wasn't taught well. And we should, that lyric and that song has been around forever, and no one's really taking it. And I could be wrong to a certain extent. No one's taking that to the masses in the proper way, in the way that I'm speaking of, in terms of first and foremost, self equality, secondly, self worth, and then self respect. And what actually having self respect means, holding yourself in high regard. The definition of respect is to hold something in high regard. I didn't hold myself in high regard. And that's my birthright. My birthright is to hold myself in high regard. We're we're born to hold ourselves in high regard. We hold ourselves in high regard at birth, and we lose that along the way. And that that shouldn't happen. I mean, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Okay, but I'm standing on the ground of it shouldn't happen.